On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we're back at the new house and the new shop, and today, concrete. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and like I said, today they are starting on some of the concrete work. And I am super pumped about this concrete work because it's going to give us, well, first of all, a non-muddy mess in front of the shop. You can see that a lot of the water flows through here, creates a mud pit in front of the doors. We can't have that. You can't track mud into your building. So today's first part of the concrete work is pouring a slab all the way over here, coming out farther over there, and then running all the way down the side of the building. So I've got a place to park trailers. Now, I do need you guys to bear with me today. I'm completely beat, just getting over COVID, so I don't really have my voice, and I'm still getting headaches every once in a while, and I'm still finding nails in my driveway. So hopefully by the end of the day, I'm feeling a little better. We'll just kind of see how it shakes out. It's been a rough weekend, but we're gonna get concrete one way or the other, and I'm not doing the work. So that's the cool part. I get to work on some other projects that need to get done while these guys get the concrete done. So we're waiting on Wichita Dumpster to pick up this dumpster that's completely full of carpet now. They should be here any minute, and then I can move my scissor lift over onto the house's concrete, and the concrete guys just showed up with their skid steer, and I mean, we're about ready to rock and roll. They should be here in the next few minutes, and I have to get all this stuff moved and we'll all get to work. It is a lot of work to get done for being absolutely beat, but what are you gonna do? You just kind of have to get back to work. All right, guys, I just got out of the attic. Updates, the dumpster's gone, the scissor lift is moved, and the concrete guys are putting in work over here, getting ready for the new slabs. But I think it's time for me to head back to bed. That was it. Took all of it out of me. And I'm absolutely covered, absolutely filthy. I got the wire to our new drop into the basement, but I couldn't find a stud to get on, so I had to crawl back out, change trajectories in the attic, and go back in. So I need to go back in, but I mean, I'm gonna do it. I just know I shouldn't. I'm completely done.
This is looking awesome.
And I'm back. I'm feeling quite a bit better than I was a minute ago. I've re-alived. So, first of all, we get a great look at the floor on the shop here, where it's actually like 8 inches thick out here on the edges. And we do know it's like 6 inside, so it's ready to rock and roll for the lifts as soon as the floor is dry. Honestly, I don't even think the spray foam will be finished. I'm putting the lifts in. We can't keep waiting. I know you guys want to see me work on cars. We got to get that done. Also, the grading is getting very close. He's putting a slope out here. It looks like he's got all of that nailed on the string line there, and he's just over here knocking it out. Ugh. We've got some nasty scraping noises where these trees are hitting the top of the building. I'm gonna clear all of that out of there. All right, that's the update on the concrete for the moment. They should be back. I think they went to lunch, so here in a few we'll see them probably getting the pins into the side of the building, starting on the rebar, fence, all that fun stuff. Over here, we have our Ethernet all the way down to the basement, so I am ready to cut this, terminate it, and put everything back together up here. I had to pull the end of the soffit off just to get all that wire in there. Now in the house, I should take you guys up in the attic and show you around. It's actually pretty cool because they insulated the whole thing with like a rock wool, old school wool insulation, and that is in between, those are bats in between all of the joists. And that was pretty good, but then in '81, I've got some old school docks stapled into the attic here. It says it's Corning fiberglass insulation there. The paper's all falling apart, but they blew in another full set of R19 insulation on top of what was already there. So we have like R30 insulation in the house, which is why it's actually been reasonable in here with 0 air conditioning so far since I bought the house. We've just kept working. Sure, it's a little warm, but you know, it's not burning up in there. And now we know it was just well insulated. So I am getting the lights. Hopefully we get the lights all done today. I gotta punch some holes in those, get the wires up into the attic, run them over to the boxes where those Edison base bulbs were. And I'm gonna go pull a little bit of slack into my Ethernet before it goes into the conduit down to the basement, just so future me, if we need to do anything, can pull some extra Ethernet in or whatever we need to do. You guys do this in your sleep, right? I'm pretty sure if you've watched my channel enough, You know how to do it in your sleep. Cut, strip, the little spiral stripper thing. Honestly makes life really nice. Fan out all your wires so you can get them away from the plastic core. Cut out the plastic core. You don't want to undo your twist per inch, otherwise you'll have some near-in crosstalk. So, you know, make sure you cut that real short. And I only untwist maybe 2 twists, and those 2 twists go into the connector to make sure there is no near-in crosstalk action. And today I don't get to mess up because I only have 2 connectors left and I haven't ordered any in years, so hope I'm not wrong. Anyway, orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. There's the oranges. Here's our green, white. I leave the blues twisted quite a bit, and then I poke myself in the finger with the plastic core. There you go. Clean them up, put them in the connector. And once you cut the end off, they're pretty straight. And then my other Ethernet cable making rule, always double tap. Ready to rock. All right guys, our cables are terminated, the cameras are on, everything's powered up. I need to bring over the battery backup, and then I need to move all this over, tear all this down, and put up a 3/4 sheet of plywood to use as like my D-mark board and hang the rack. The rack is already here to go on this wall, but without plywood, well, I'm not going anywhere. So I want probably a full sheet of plywood all the way to the floor, and then all the electronics, all the smart home stuff for the house will end up on that wall. I probably need to do it again over here by the water, because I need to cut all the piping off here at the water main and then come out and put in a manifold and start. Honestly, I think we're gonna replumb the whole house. It's a disaster, it's all horribly run. I gotta get a filter on here, I need a water softener, I need a place to hang all the water stuff. So really, I should just hang a piece of plywood and do the same thing right there. Plywood's obviously the best way to do it, so you're not tap-conning into the concrete non-stop. And honestly, I've got studs. Usually you don't have studs up against your exterior walls, at least where I'm normally working on this stuff. And this is funny too. This is the outside of the house telephone network interface. I'm gonna go ahead and cut all that out and throw it away, and then just keep the main phone line into the house. It's never gonna get used again, but we'll sort all that out later. There shouldn't be one of these network interface boxes in the house. It just doesn't make any sense. All these old cable modems, routers, battery backups, trash. And then over here, of course, I've got everything apart, but I don't have a single gang box over here, so I gotta run to Lowe's, buy some parts, and then we can pull in all new wire for our lights, and we'll be able to see down in this room. So obviously that will make a huge difference. And out here in the garage, well, I got some lights sorted out. And as sorted out as I got them, everything became way less sorted out. So the new LED lights are hung up and wired into the house the way they're supposed to be. Disregard the spaghetti mess that these things have become, but now they have 0 to 10 volt dimming in them. All the low voltage wires, you got 8 of those to each one, or 4 of those to each segment, so you got 8 of those there. And it starts looking like a giant disaster. You just kind of have to clean up the wires the best you can, shove them up in the fixture and close them. It's really become quite the mess. But I got bit by the 120 while I was putting that up there, and I was like, huh, the switch is off. How did this happen, you know? Why? It's no big deal getting shocked by a little bit of 120, but still, you're in your mind, you're like, weird that I got shocked. Maybe there's a grounding or a neutral issue or something, because I actually hit the neutral. It turns out, this is the switch I thought controlled the garage lights. And if you look at it, it doesn't look like a 3-way switch. I mean, it's just too small. It's too lame of a switch. And then the second I connected the lights, they came on. And I was like, oh, well, I guess the circuit was energized the whole time. Good thing I was being careful while I was working. And then I thought in my head, oh, maybe you can turn on the garage lights inside. It's got finally one 3-way switch in this house, because there has not been another one yet. So I came in here and I turned that off, and guess what? The garage lights shut off. So I thought, one small victory, how can you beat that? It was not a victory. It's 2 separate circuits. Unbelievable. This turns on that circuit. So now this switch, honestly, is worthless, but it needs to be a 3-way switch. So I think, before I keep going, I need to go get some 12-3 so I can have a traveler, rip all the wires out of this thing, get new wires down both walls, and put in some real circuitry. But then again, even though I want to finish this and be done with the garage and have all my lights, we're gonna gut the entire kitchen, so what am I doing? I guess I'll just bring another piece of wire over, pick these up, and leave that other circuit alone until we're ready to actually pull in some wire. I just can't win over here, guys. This place was 100% like DIY'd by people that had no idea what they were actually doing, so it's kind of painful. I don't know. I'm gonna go buy PEX-A and wire, and we're just starting over. Starting over on everything. It's the only way. Well, we've gone from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, and I'm feeling about 90% now, so I am excited about that. I know, not the most exciting video because I was beat, but the cameras are wired from the eaves outside all the way to the basement, which is an achievement if you ask me. That usually is a ton of work in any house, and now it's super easy for me to get wire up and down. The first one was a bit of a challenge, but now with the pulling string all sorted out, easy. Easy. Switch, router, battery backup. We'll head downstairs in a minute. We did a lot. Out here, the concrete was just one guy. One guy did all this, you know, get in here with the bucket and the Bobcat, got himself a lot of grading done, and the forms are going in. And you know, this guy said he's been running a skid steer forever. He was like, this is about all I do. And he was like, I can eyeball these grades and nail them. And honestly, he absolutely has done exactly that. So, I might have him move this dirt. I didn't realize how much dirt he had actually taken out. He asked me if I wanted this moved, and I was like, dude, don't worry about it. I'll bring another Bobcat up here and move it myself. But you know what? I might have him move it over to that berm that's over there. That's a good place for all this dirt. But we're almost ready. Tomorrow he brings in all the rebar and he's gonna tie up the grid, get it pinned into the foundation, and pour concrete on Thursday. And of course Thursday's the day I'm allowed to drive inside, and shortly after that we'll be able to drive on everything. So there you go, a quick look inside the formed up concrete area here. 10 foot over, 10 foot over. I actually wanted to go to 16, but we would have had to take out all of those trees completely. I know they're actually just weeds, but I didn't want to mess with them yet. So maybe down the road if we want to, we'll clean all that up. But I actually like there being space. There's probably an easement right there. I know the fence is my property line, so it's a good compromise, honestly. 10 foot, you can park a trailer on 10 foot. I know that much. So 10 foot out here, 5 foot out in front of the door, and then he did a hard edge. I do need to tell him that I want a nice soft edge over there, because that's probably as far as this concrete will ever go. So yeah, right here I need a little radius, and honestly I wouldn't hate having a radius over there, but it'll probably look cleaner if we just make that straight. All right, that's the outdoor update. Let's head inside. Before we do that, huge shout out to Bill from Screw Products. While we were on the live stream during the fire the other day, he's like, do you want some screws for the project? And I was like, sure. So he sent me an email, I sent him an address, and he sent me this care package of screws from Screw Products, and it's amazing. So shout out to you, Bill. Thanks for the note. Thanks for watching the channel. He sent me this bag. Obviously, airbags are great for everything. This one for like installing doors and windows, appliances, putting in the leveling legs, stuff like that. Super nice to have. And he threw in some shirts, a ton of structural screws. These are really nice, and they're Torx like T20s, T25s, everything you're used to working with. Check out these monsters. Oh, those are huge. And some cabinet screws right there, super nice. We use a ton of those. And some wood to steel screws, another thing that I use every once in a while, and I've never actually bought them before. I usually run a generic construction screw. What a care package. Huge thanks to Bill. I will use all of that. Here's the new rack that needs to go in the basement. I want it to stay unfocused. My address is clearly on there. And I need to haul that downstairs. Lights, we've got lights. Not only are they hung, they work. So I'll put the diffusion cover on the other one. Once I decide how I'm gonna hook these together, which light switch they're gonna go to, or if I'm just gonna put in a three-way switch, all that needs to happen after I rip out all these old wooden cabinets. The way this is all wired is really weird. It has some strange inset boxes that mount into this piece of wood paneling. And as you guys know, we're planning on gutting all of this and deleting the soffit and taking the cabinets all the way to the ceiling like a modern house would be. So, I probably shouldn't mess with that. That is definitely a project for later me. A project for today me is getting our internet up so we can see the cameras, and that's been a big pain. I've been working on it for a very, very long time, but we've got our battery backup, everything's running on it. I was so worried. As soon as I plugged these into an outlet, I was like, not without buried power lines. So I went and got the UPS and surge protection and got all that hooked up the way it should be. Over here, we have my cable modem that will not connect. We've been trying for quite a while now, and we went through some troubleshooting. The tech originally got the MAC address wrong, so I called in, got that corrected, and I was like, it still won't connect. So I did some more troubleshooting. Over here, we've got the old Fire Prime. What do you guys call these? Somebody in the comments has to know what a Federal Pacific's called. Fire is always the first letter, but what's the P? Fire prone panel? Anyway, that needs to become a square D quickly. This is the worst breaker panel ever. Even turning one off, like the lights in here, 31, it's just so sketchy moving those breakers. Hopefully you don't have one of those in your house, or even worse, you could be like me and have two of those. There's a sub panel here, and they are both FPs. What a nightmare, even though the entire service to the house has been recently replaced. Look at that gleaming galvanized metal and all that brand new wire. It doesn't make any sense. It's all brand new, and then inside it's horrible. Even the power to the shop is all brand new, but it's clearly been existing for years. So I came outside and I started tracing out my cable, which is so dumb. I was upset at how the disconnect for the AC was, and I realized what happened was they didn't want to drill through the brick, so they pulled it off the wall and shoved the cable in the hole. Don't do that. Drill a hole. Came over here, I traced it out, I looked up, and I was like, look guys, the cable's good, just turn on my modem. So they did, and they mentioned that the cable here hadn't been on since 2011, and they really wanted to send a tech out. And I was like, just don't worry about it. Here's the MAC for the modem. Turn it on. It'll all work out. I was wrong. It will not work out. There's the rest of my cable coming over to their splitter at the pole, and my cable's not hooked up to anything. So tomorrow we'll have that hooked back up and we will be good to go. We will have internet and I will get notifications for the cameras, which is all I want in life. So, mission accomplished for the day. I did my part. I thought I had a complete win. I didn't. Soon I will. So there you go. One step forward. Well, on the concrete, it's just one step forward. But on all the electrical, it's one step forward and two steps back. I don't know why. One of these days. Honestly, there were a lot of wins today with the low voltage and the concrete and getting the cable modem sorted out and troubleshooting done. You know, it'll all work tomorrow. All that I'm really out of luck on is this garage wiring it's real bad. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I'll talk to you next time. If these walls were done, I could go ahead and get this mini split on, but the problem is there's too many contingencies. Getting this sheetrock done is contingent on having all the junk out of the ceiling, and then getting the paint done is contingent on the sheetrock, and getting this mini split, you know, the outdoor unit done is contingent on me replacing every bit of the concrete. And before I get anything else done in here, I gotta replace the entire floor in here. It's a project, guys. It is a project that just doesn't seem to end. Now, we're lining stuff up. I promise I'm going as fast as I can, but we did kind of cheat and start with the easy stuff out here on the shop. A lot of the concrete out here needs a lot of planning and thought, and the concrete directly around the shop, we were like, this doesn't matter, just pour it. So we're taking the easy route, but also getting things done as fast as we can.